Good morning. Bom dia à comunidade portuguesa que está connosco aqui hoje e online. I would like to start this session by welcoming this panel that we will have now that is called Out of the Box. And it's called Out of the Box because we will have topics that are related to aviation, but are not necessarily the topics that we used to think when you think about commercial aviation. We will be talking about delivery and cargo, and also because of that, we call it Out of the Box. I have the honor to have here with me my two guests. I will have Marta Capello and Catarina. Can you please join me? Thank you so much.
Good morning.
So Marta Capello, I'll make a brief introduction and then you can introduce yourself. But Marta Capello is a director of the Competition and Regulatory Affairs at CTT, the post office in Portugal. And Catarina Pascoal, she is the CEO of TP Logistics and director of Transportes Pascoal. Marta, I would like to start with you. I would like you to first let us know a bit of yourself, about your work, and also to share a bit of your experience during the pandemic. How was it, the struggles you had, the pain points the post offices felt, the delivery area services felt? Please, Marta.
Hello, thank you very much, Ligia, for the invitation. Let me just use a few seconds to thank this municipality and this community. In times when we switch on the TV and watch the news and things look so gloomy, it's so refreshing to be in Portugal in this summit and looking ahead with this feeling of entrepreneurship and initiative.
Face-to-face.
And in face-to-face, absolutely. And well, I am, as you said, in CTT, it's the incumbent postal operator in Portugal, but we also do other services like delivery express mails and support other companies with other corporate services. I am particularly in charge of the management of the public service obligations and market regulation. And in these times, as we are considered an essential service, we kept on going. We couldn't stop. People had to receive their email, people had to receive their parcels. They were heavily relying on e-commerce, but we had to operate with significant constraints. Not only internally, we had limitations with our own staff. People who got ill or their families got ill, they couldn't go to work. We had to replace and reorganize the whole operation, but also we had to adapt to external factors such as the shortcomings in transport, namely the air transport in what regards the international the international business and also the business to the islands of Madeira and Açores that heavily rely on the air operation, and there we had to turn to alternatives. We had to turn to road transport, land transport, mainly road, because in Portugal, as you know, the rail is not so much developed, and also maritime to the islands and to some international destinations. Of course, the operations are not prepared for that. There are a number of technical difficulties, such as the fact when we rely on aviation, let me say this first because this is important, we rely a lot on commercial aviation. This is not only CTT, this is the mail operators worldwide rely on commercial aviation. Why? Because the transport is very frequent, so you have
many connections.
You have many connections per day,
yes.
So you don't need to make like big groupings or containers with mail, and you can feed the chain several times during the day, and that allows you to keep up with your delivery targets. When you have one or two per day, or only a few per week, or one every 2 weeks, as we had in these times, then it's impossible to comply with the delivery targets.
Yes, you were severely impacted.
So
With the
yes,
shortcoming
it
of
was severely
flights.
impacted, and this impact is not only in Portugal, it's worldwide. And in fact, if the delivery in the continent is coming back to normal, in what the islands and the international business is regarded, we're still a bit far from it.
Yes, we are. So, as we see that commercial aviation was not taking off, we had the cargo and delivery seeing the growth, exponential growth that they couldn't cope with. And this was, I think, the case also for you, Catarina, that you had extreme workload besides the one you had regularly. How was that experience for you? First, introduce yourself, please, and then give us this experience, if you may.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ligia,
It's our
for
pleasure.
the invitation. I'm very glad to be here, and I want to congratulate you in particular and IATA in general for the initiative. Is very good for us here in Portugal.
Thank
you. So my name is Catarina José Pascoal. I am CEO of TP Logistics and also director on Transpascoal. We've been in cargo business more than 30 years. I've been 17 years, and we never had a year like last year. But it was a challenge, and it was one of the best years ever in cargo. In spite of all the logistics issues and challenges, also and simultaneously with Brexit and all the COVID restrictions. But it was very interesting because a lot of work and everything.
Yes, and I know that you also have something in mind for the future. I'll get back to that shortly. I would just like to pick on something that you said, Marta, that how the passenger flights affected your work and the distribution, the delivery. And which takeaways you had from this experience? How did that affect you? Financially also, but procedural in terms of organization, you had to rearrange, you had to find solutions for the distributions, for the delivery to be made. Which main takeaways you have from this experience?
I think that we need to be a bit more flexible in terms of the transportation alternatives that we use. One of the difficulties that we faced with the passenger flights that we still used was also that airlines are using smaller aircrafts. So the volumes that we can transport are smaller. And also there's priority on perishable goods and medicines and things like that. So sometimes it's not only the cancellations, but also what we call the short shipping. So we cannot put all the mail that we had planned in that connection. And that means that it stays behind, and again, the delivery targets are impacted. So perhaps in spite of the fact that more connections with passengers are better for the postal operation, we need to complement that with the cargo offer. The cargo offer, however, in Portugal and regarding the islands of Azores and Madeira, is still very expensive. And whereas we see that in the commercial flights, passengers the prices are getting back to normal. In cargo, the market is still not working.
Not exactly like that.
Yeah. So we hope that the market, grows there and starts providing a bit more flexible offers. And of course, we also need to work on standards, because the problem is that the postal operation
Exactly.
is also working with some standards and the systems of integrators that you sometimes need to use, or when you group a lot of items, they need to be sorted on arrival and prepared for the last mile. So there are some adjustments that maybe need to be made but again, flexibility and complementary offers may be the...
And probably people, when they're ordering or they're expecting mail or deliveries, they don't think about what's happening in the full value chain from the moment they order something until the moment it arrives to their houses. And
there's one more thing, if you allow me,
go ahead.
is that mail is less and less an urgent means of communication. So what other countries are doing Europe-wide is actually adapting the delivery targets, and that's what we hope that we can do in the near future.
To get also, okay. Katarina, tell me one thing. With this growth in terms of your workload, do you have any plans that you can share with us? Because let's not forget, this is an aviation summit. Is there any news that you'd like to share with us?
Yes. I have a big project in air cargo because I always been passionate for airplanes, and because we are in cargo yet, so I have this idea of why not expand for air cargo, because the future, I believe, is that with all the kids and young generations buying online and global products that need to be delivered quickly, and I think only air cargo can do that.
And it's actually part of the value chain. So you have not only road transport, but you want to evolve to air transport. It also opens up new markets for you. So
yes.
How did it happen for you to think about this new experience? And what is your expectation, your motivation, your vision with this new airline or air company?
Yeah, because we only operate in Europe, and now we want to expand for all over the world. So it's a big challenge, but it's what we like to do. It's something we love. So I think it's the way.
Very good. Let me change now, because you were talking about the new generations.
Yeah.
We know that one concern that the new generations have is environmental sustainability.
Yeah.
And this is something that it sometimes is not exactly compatible with the consumption patterns we have nowadays. Marta, what are the policies or measures that CTT is implementing in terms of sustainability? What is the impact that sustainability has, and how are you coping with this today and in the future?
Yeah, well, actually, this is one of the big priorities of CTT. We are committed to 8 of the UN Sustainability Development Goals, so in several areas, ranging from environmental to societal and citizenship. We are very proud of the way we rank among our peers in the achievement of the targets that we commit to. So just to give you some examples on the environmental sustainability, we have this commitment to spend only electricity from renewable sources. We have the largest electric fleet in Portugal.
Good.
Just to give another example, we have some green products, like if you see the Easy Mail, the Correio Verde that you have in the CTT shops. So those packages are recycled and recyclable, and they also have so that they are carbon neutral. And they are very well received by the public. And in 2021, we also launched reusable packages. So there are some delivery packages that can be reused up to 50 times. and those packages are made of recycled material, and they can be recycled as well.
I didn't know
so there
that.
are a few. We're working in a wide range of initiatives. There's also several commitments. Of the postal sector among our peers, I could list a lot, but environmental is and have more sustainable forms of mobility and limit our carbon footprint are really at the heart of the concerns of the company.
Oh, perfect. I didn't know those examples, so I keep on learning, as probably many of you at home also are learning from this. Catarina, please share with us, besides the social corporate responsibility that your companies have, what are you doing in terms of integrating new policies, new measures, adopting new technology for your companies to be more sustainable right now and in the future?
Okay, so we are always looking for the last technology available because we think this is very important. All the young generations want this, and we also believe this is the way. So we, for example, we always have a policy with the training on drivers in eco-driving, since it's possible to measure the performance. Okay, we always train them and see what the results they have to always improve.
That's very interesting, because with the eco-driving, you have two wins. You can save financially because you save fuel, and also you emit less. So it's
Yes.
it's a win-win situation for the
Yes,
company.
this is something all companies, I believe,
Very
they
good.
are doing precisely because of that too. But always there is a new truck better than we have some natural gas trucks. And we would like to be the first European company to order a Tesla semi-truck, 100% electric.
How is
try
that working?
But Germany is imposing some restrictions because of the dimensions. And also in US, the delayed is delayed, the delivery, and we cannot do that yet, but we are hoping this will come, because we really need to do something about this.
It would be wonderful to have the reusable packages that Marta was saying being transported in electric trucks by Pascual. So this
Yes.
maybe it's a line for the future for us to think about. I would like...
Yeah.
Yes, no, continue, please.
Until there, we believe everything is important, and we always do other small things that are small but not small, because multiplied, they represent a big numbers. So,
Very good. Now I would like you, just to finalize, to let me know what are your ambitions for 2022? What do you expect? I mean, you can be a bit aspirational if you would like, but what do you expect in terms of work, of your sphere of work, and how can aviation help you, if any? Marta.
Well, we sincerely hope that the economic outlook improves significantly and we put this pandemic behind us. As a services company, if the economy improves, of course, our life will improve as well. And the increasing offer of the transportation and of the means of delivering our items improved, especially in the international transport, and also to the islands. It's transport that we cannot ensure ourselves because we don't have the scale for that. We would like to continue to affirm the company as a big or significant Iberian player that we already are, but we wanted to continue to grow. CTT is 500 years old, so we went through a lot. 19th century with the telegraph, and then with the telephone, and so there was a lot of transformation.
Big
now we have
evolution.
the email and the internet. Everything is changing, so I think we are moving away from the communications to become a modern delivery company that needs to adapt to digitization, to the boost of e-commerce, providing other services to companies, and we are here to commit to deliver is our slogan, and to do that in a sustainable way, not only environmental but also in the financial sustainability. For 2022, we have a particular challenge that is very dear to me, which is our public service contract, on which we are waiting for news of the government any minute, and we sincerely hope it can be a sustainable framework to continue to develop.
We have
Now we have the
an Air Force airplane passing by. Yes. No, but Marta, before finalizing, before passing to Catarina to close, is there anything that the governments or the public entities could enable to CTT? Is there anything is there any ask that you would like to leave?
Well, if you give me that chance.
Of course, now that I gave you that chance.
There's a file that you may know well, which is the public service obligations to the islands, the transport to the islands. I think that could help not only CTT but also like other companies in Portugal, because we do have a shortage of transportation for goods and communications to Azores and Madeira. And that actually increases the isolation of the people of those islands and creates difficulties also for the exports of the goods of those islands. And that file is pending for many years, as you know. And I think we could gain for that. Of course, cargo operation there is also helpful to make the prices go a bit down.
Yeah, to improve competition also.
Yeah, improve competition.
The same question to you, Catarina, just to close. What is your expectation for 2022? First one is the Air Force to slow down a bit. Okay, now that we're back to our emission, Catarina, what is your expectation for 2022? And what is the kind of support that companies like yours would need from public entities, from the government, for instance? What kind of support would you need, or would you ask for if you could?
Okay. We love this sound.
It's the air show, so.
I hope 2022 will be the year to see people more optimistic, and so that's what it needs, not so much government support or something like that, but first of all, the optimistic.
Very good to know that the business are the ones that need to drive and not to wait for public support to come.
I hope so.
This is also the message that we would like to leave. On behalf of IATA, I would really like to thank you both for being here. CTT, Pascual Aviation, I wish you all the best, and thank you for being here with us in this out-of-the-box session. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.